There's never been a better time to find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Download the BetMGM app and place a $10 moneyline wager on any NBA playoff game. If either team hits a three-pointer in the game, you'll win $200 in free bets, regardless of your wager's outcome. Just use code LIBERTY200 when you make your first bet. Sign up now and discover BetMGM's daily promotions, boosted odds specials, and more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use code LIBERTY200 to win $200 if either team hits a three in any NBA playoff game. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Pennsylvania only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Hollywood Casino Morgantown.
Hey, it's Christine with Storyworthy. Today on the show, comedian Mav Viola talks about her roommate who had COVID.
I'm thinking we're like respecting one another and we're both just like quarantining and doing it right. And then he gets a wild hair and decides to go to Mexico. And he's like, oh, I'm just renting an Airbnb. You know, I'm just gonna go with my friend, just one friend, and we're gonna go to Mexico. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, I don't think you should. He decides to go anyway, like swears up and down it's just with one person. He calls me and he's like, babe, don't come home. I tested positive for COVID.
Today on the show, comedian and writer Mav Viola talks about her roommate who had COVID. Stay close.
Hey, my name is Mav Viola and you're listening to Storyworthy.
Welcome to Storyworthy. My name is Christine Blackburn, and I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Whether you're a longtime fan of the show or a new listener, well, if you're a new listener, you have a lot of catching up to do. But either way, welcome to Storyworthy. I'm so glad you guys are here, and I hope you guys had a chance to listen to the story last week by Jason Horton. Jason Horton, I don't know if you know Jason. Do you know him, Mav?
I don't know Jason. Maybe I do.
Well, you might, because he does shows at the Improv, and you know you've been down there a lot. Jason is just a major content producer. He just has, I bet he's had 7 or 8 podcasts, and he's had these incredible hit shows on YouTube. And
YouTube people.
He just knows a lot of people, and he is just great. But his story last week was about how much he loves haunted Los Angeles. Do you ever get into that kind of stuff? Haunted Los Angeles?
I do. I'll get into it. Like I'll get into a documentary every once in a while about haunted shit. Then I just get like into it and then I forget about it. Like right now you're reminding me how much I love that shit.
Well, Jason loves Los Angeles history specifically because there's been so many murders here over the years. And he says it's because of the neglect, or not the neglect, but the rejection and the despair and the shattered dreams and people coming from all over the world and not having families here, and things get tangled.
So they die and then they've got to stay here and haunt people. So they've moved here. They're miserable. It's awful. They die. And then that's their fate.
That's exactly right. Now, do you remember the story of that actress? I can't think of her name. I think it was Lillian something, who jumped off the in the Hollywood sign or whatever.
Yeah.
That. Now, I don't know if she haunts the Hollywood sign, but she's probably up there in the hills somewhere, you know,
that's boring.
Pissed off. But anyway, you guys go back, listen to Jason's story from last week because it's very interesting. He talks specifically about the murder house in Los Feliz, which I promptly drove up to and had to check it out.
The murder house?
Oh, the murder house in Los Feliz is very famous. This doctor killed his wife with a ball-peen hammer.
No.
It's not a big hammer, Mav, but it is a powerful hammer. And then he tried to kill his daughter, but she ran out of the house. Anyway, it's just up the hill from me where the richer people live, or the rich people live, I should say.
The rich people.
as it were. Yeah. Because Los Feliz is like at the top of the hill. You're pretty rich, right? Then you start
Who
coming.
don't die and get stuck in LA.
That's right. You come down the hill. Now you hit, the south of Los Feliz Boulevard, and now you're into getting close to Hollywood, and then it all falls apart. But anyway, don't go anywhere though today, you guys, because today I'm here with a very interesting person, Mav Viola. And Mav has done a tremendous amount of comedy, also a lot of writing and modeling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have.
How did the modeling find you, Mav? I mean, you're very beautiful. I'm not saying that they wouldn't find you, but you have an incredibly great look where you attract men and women. Truly.
I'm fine. The women I'm happy about. The men can stay where they are. They can stay. I'm flattered if a man is attracted to me. I'm confused, but I'm flattered. I think it means that they are a gay man who wants to be with a man.
Yeah.
If you're attracted to this, you are a gay man.
Interesting.
100%.
Interesting. Yeah, but you give off a tremendous amount of confidence on stage. You have, well, you do. You have an air about you, and you kind of look like a bad person in a way. But then you're like really sexy. Well, it's just interesting. And I know your background, that you grew up like super Christian. And then
I did.
Yeah, I heard somewhere on one of your shows that you have actually stayed pretty conservative, even though that's not your outward appearance, as it were.
Yeah. I can't help that. It's just like my mother programmed me so perfectly, as Southern conservative Catholic women do to their children. It's just ingrained in me. So no matter how far away I get from religion or Catholicism or anything like that, which I don't, I would say that I'm agnostic. Yeah. I still feel very conservative in, not my appearance so much, but obviously is alternative. But in the bedroom or things like that, it's just I'm not I think maybe you heard that on the Margaret Cho podcast. I talked to her about it.
It's so interesting. You should say that.
Yeah.
Because, and ladies and gentlemen out there, if you really want to get to know Mav Viola, you listen to the Margaret Cho podcast and you're going to hear every detail you ever wanted to know, or maybe you didn't want to know. But listen, Margaret Cho has such a way about her, and she's so open. It's incredible.
And she's so up for anything like it's nothing. For me, I feel like, I'd try anything once, but oh my God, I'll have a heart attack doing it. Margaret is just like, oh yeah, that butt plug. It's a wonderful butt plug. It's no big whoop to her.
She's so powerful and she's so confident. And I think she's just had her voice for so long that there's no fear for her at all. She's written the books. She's had the specials. She has a tremendous amount of success. And it's not just success. It's that she backs it up because she's worked so flippin' hard.
Yeah, dude, she's great. And she's so personable. And I mean, you forget that she's famous when you're talking to her because she's just so lovely and kind.
Yeah, I actually have not met her yet. We did hook up on the internet a couple of times, trying to make a space for Storyworthy, but it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I might hit you up for that. Just so you know.
I'm sure she would do it. She's so rad.
Yeah.
She got things out of me on that episode that I was like, I left and I was like, nobody can listen to that. I can't even promote this. I'm so excited that I did this podcast with Margaret Cho and I can't even tell anyone about it.
But you know what? You never know that on the show because it just goes back and forth. It flows very nicely and there's no, you don't sound.
That's her. That's all her.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you don't sound like, well, I didn't really want to talk about that. But if you want to say that, you know what I mean? There was no pushback. It's a very nice, it's a very sweet, reasonable, fine conversation until you realize what they're talking about. And then you're like, oh, hey.
I think she was a little thrown, which most people are, or not thrown like in off her game, but I mean thrown in the sense that I think people look at me and expect one thing and then, are surprised to find that I'm not, what they expect. I'm not as, I've been a sex shop, the fact that I'm even calling it a sex shop. I don't even know what to call it. I've been in a sex shop twice ever in my life.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm terrified.
I hear exactly what you mean. It's very funny, but that's also the charm of you because you could see that on stage. You're very You're wholesome, you're edgy, but everybody wants to be your friend because really, you're
Oh,
very
that's
beautiful.
fine.
So, how did that modeling start? I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it started when I was a teenager. My mom got me into it some. And then when I moved out to LA, I got scouted by a modeling agency and I started modeling. I did runway a bunch. And I was super feminine, long blonde hair, and it was really uncomfortable. Didn't like it. Quit, shaved my head, all that stuff. And then androgyny comes and goes in fashion. And it kind of, once it came back in full swing, I did a few more
Oh,
campaigns,
yeah.
and that was cool. But now I don't model anymore. I mean,
Yeah, no, I
I guess I would if
understand,
I
but
had like here's some money, but
it's really exciting though to have those photographs. I'm sure you have. How was
yeah,
wearing those heels? I mean, that must have been absurd for you.
I fell a lot. And I did this one runway show down Hollywood Boulevard, and that was like the most embarrassing show of my life because I was so uncomfortable. And I think it just people know when someone's
Right.
uncomfortable. It's like when I see a woman, I'm like, they're fucking gay and they don't know it yet,
Right, right,
because
right.
they just look so uncomfortable in like what they're
In their
wearing, and
skin, yeah.
you can't fight that body language.
No.
When you got dyke body language, it is real. There's no amount of makeup and heels. I had this like Little Mermaid looking dress on that was just like this green flowing crazy dress, and my hair all done up, and I was like, this is not good. Like,
But let me ask you, because I did have a model on my show in the fall. It was my first, like,
yeah,
she was a supermodel. I don't know if you know her, Eugenia
wow.
Kuzmina. And
No, I
she's
don't, but I will
fabulous.
look her up.
You know what? She's so fabulous. And now she's a comic and she's very funny.
Wow.
Yeah. Because she
Wow.
gets on stage and she does this model walk, which is obviously very, like, it's a talent, and she does the
Yeah,
walk.
yeah.
And then she stops in front of the camera, or excuse me, stops in front of the microphone, stops, and she just says, I'm hungry.
It's true.
She's so great. But yeah, so
Oh,
then,
that's
so
rad.
my question was, when I was talking to her, she said that as a model, you like sometimes backstage they'll even put a sign up like you are a warrior or you are the empress of a kingdom, like they're trying to plant thoughts in your head so that when you go out that's who you're playing. No, but
Oh
she
my
does say
God.
that she's definitely playing a character when she does those walks,
Yeah,
because that's not who
yeah.
she is.
No, hell no, it's not who she is. Like, it's really not who anybody is. I mean, some people, I guess, feel really empowered by it, and
But
that's
you couldn't
wonderful.
fake it as an actress, as it
I
were.
mean, I tried. I don't think I did a very good job. I don't think I did. I mean, you know what's funny about it is I think that I could pull off, like, I enjoy playing if I'm doing something funny, like a sketch for my Instagram or something like that, I enjoy putting on a wig and playing a feminine character because now I've found myself. And so I have a lot more
Yeah,
freedom
sure.
to explore because it doesn't mean anything. I'm not worried about people perceiving me at all. I really could care less if they're like, oh, well, you look better with that, Karen wig on. I'd be like, fuck you. It's not me.
Okay,
Whereas
so
back in the day, I was stressed about, the way people were perceiving me and how, because I didn't know what I was or who I was.
and when did you find comedy? Because then that also shows so much self-confidence and stuff.
Yeah, I did Second City Improv first. And that was the first thing that got me to like open up. I was really shy before that. I mean, I was always funny growing up, but I was shy in groups and everything. I drink a lot of wine to get through Second City. And then people just kept telling me, honestly, people kept telling me to try stand up. And I always wanted to, but I was just scared. And I did it one time. And, like most comics, it was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, this is awesome.
Oh, yeah, the laugh or the applause, it's like, yeah, you can't if that's what you crave, and then you get that,
Mhm.
like, you will be that's it, you're hooked, you're gonna be hooked.
Dude, I can't even tell you how many times I've had friends, or I even had an ex one time that was like, I'm so attracted to you on stage. You're so confident on stage. Who's that? I'm like, beats me.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, you know how
Yeah.
you get judged as soon as you walk on the stage, they're looking at you
Yep.
before you even talk in the mic, and so your attitude has already begun, they know who you are. I don't know, it's cool, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool.
So today you bring forth the topic, "My roommate had COVID." And so
Yeah.
obviously we're going to be talking about your roommate that had COVID. I am so excited about this vaccine.
I am too.
I want a shot so badly. Like, I just want to get the process started because I know that you have to get it and then wait and then get another one. And I just so badly, I want to fly home to see my mom. I haven't seen her in 2 years, you know?
Oh, yeah. Same.
Yeah. And so it's like, I'm just so excited about it. But personally, I know a few people that had it. Bill Dawes, you know Bill Dawes? He had COVID. And I know a couple other people, but the only people I know that have passed away is like Lori Kilmartin's mom and a couple other parents that I know, but I don't know anybody in my peer group or whatever you'd say. So I'm anxious to hear. Yeah, I'm anxious to hear your story. How many? Just let me before we get to your story. How many times have you been tested now?
Have I been tested? Yeah. Oh my God. God, probably upwards of 30. I mean, probably 30 years. I protested my ass off the whole last year. So I tried to be smart, at the protest.
I'm sure you were with masks, etc.
Yes, but there's only so much you can do, especially when it was really popping off. Like, there were oftentimes people need help and you have to, touch people and carry people and help people who are bleeding and help people who don't have water. They're all walking down the street shot with the shoes off. You know, it's like, you got to help that person. You can't worry about COVID.
Yeah. Where were you last week during the insurrection? By the way, I didn't even know what the word insurrection meant 2 weeks ago. I'm just saying that. I honestly didn't. Where were you? I'm just curious.
Well, honestly, I've just been home the last week. I've been in my home, in my apartment. I haven't gone out at all.
And so you were watching there, right?
I watched from home. Yeah. I didn't go out. I kind of, I really take there's quite a few like independent journalists on the ground and that I follow in LA and BLM is obviously a group that I follow and kind of take their lead. Yeah. So they tell me to show up somewhere, I show up. Otherwise I just kind of keep, my ears and my eyes open and but otherwise I try to stay safe with COVID stuff, especially because it's been skyrocketing. I was like, okay, if I need it, I'll go, but I'm not going to just go cause
Somebody told me yesterday it's 1 in 3 people in LA have it or have had it.
Is that right?
That's what somebody told me yesterday. Last week they said 1 in 5. Now they said 1 in 3. That seems like even impossible. I mean, I guess it could be, but I don't know.
I guess there's maybe they're factoring in all of the people who have been asymptomatic. Like, they're probably saying like, well, if we were to factor that in, it's most likely that 1 in 3 have had it. Yeah. I wonder how many of those know. I mean, because I wouldn't have known if I'd had it.
Yeah, well, I'm anxious to hear about your roommate. But before we get over to Mav's story, I did want to remind you guys that we are playing Story Smash every Friday night live on Facebook and YouTube, and it's going really, really well. So please check out Story Smash on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And if you miss the show, you can always watch it on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Christine Blackburn, and all those shows are on YouTube. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, we've been having a blast. So make sure you do that. And then also check out the Story-Worthy Hour of Power every month at Flappers Comedy Club. The next show is February 21st. We just had a show the other night, January 17th, and it was fabulous. So you guys are going to love the show in February as well. Look for more information there over at my website, storyworthypodcast.com. And then, the Twitter and the Instagram and all the things you have to do that. Would you please at Storyworthy? And then also join my mailing list because I'm a really good mailing list person. Do you like mailing lists, Mav?
You're amazing. I'm right now. I'm just like, well, I need to be taking all these notes. Look at all these things you've got going on. I'm so bad at this.
I've been doing this a long time. I've been working very hard.
Amazing. Yeah, you're killing it. Yeah, I like an email list. Put me on your email. Am I on your email list? I don't think I am.
But some people really do them well. Seriously, like it's interesting. And I don't know if mine's that good, but I like my mailing list. And I've joined several that I like. So now it's kind of like a thing for me.
Yeah, I'm into it. I think it's great. I should get a mailing list. I don't know what I'm going to put on it, but just links to all your shit.
You make me laugh. Well, listen, you've got a great website and great social media presence, so why not just start there? You guys, right now, let's hear Mav's story. You can check out Mav's website over at mavviola.com, and also find her on Twitter and Instagram at Mav Viola. And Mav has also been on tour with Whitney Cummings, which is a big deal. Here's what I don't know Whitney, but one thing I was really respected about her is that I heard her on, I don't know, Mark Maron or Joe Rogan or somewhere, and she was talking about before she did her stand-up special, she did that special 240 times.
Damn, I'm not surprised. She's a man, she is a hard worker.
Hard worker. I was so impressed by that. And then it's like, no wonder she has every beat down and she's so accomplished. That must have been really great to be with her.
Holy, there was nothing like it. She's, first of all, she's extremely generous, extremely kind. And I don't know how she maintains that level of humanity while she's working so hard. Because usually I feel like a lot of people in the business have to sacrifice one for the other.
Sure.
You know, you're either like a lazy, nice person or you're like a hardworking asshole.
Yeah.
And she's a hardworking, kind person and kind to everyone at the club, kind to all her fans. She's just really lovely to be around.
That's what it seems like when I've heard her talking. It seems like she's like all around a great person. So,
yeah, she's great. She's smart as shit.
Yeah.
She's just like, I mean, being around her and being on tour with her, that was the first time I ever did anything like that. And it was just, I couldn't believe how hard she worked. Like, you know how we do, we're like, finish up and we're like, okay, cool, good for us. We did a show. She jumps right into notes and rewriting. And it's just
going through her set, making it better for the next time. That's a lot of work. That's where the real work comes in. Wait, what?
She writes on the plane. Like, I'm talking takeoff and landing. I was like, I'm gonna barf. I can't do this. She's sitting next to me with her notebook and her computer cruising through her next special. And I'm sitting there like trying not to Ralph all over her. Like, this is your one big opportunity. You know?
Oh, that's awesome. How many tour dates did you do with her? How many clubs?
Well, I think I did, I want to say 5 cities.
Oh, that's so great.
Like that, but we did 5 shows every time. I have to really think about it, but yeah, it was all awesome.
So great. All right, well, I'm excited for your story. So folks, wherever you are, please put your hands together for Mav Viola.
Woo. Okay, so my roommate got COVID, and I think the most important thing to say up front is that he is okay, because that's the big that's not the twist. I'm not going to make you wait to know whether or not he has moved on from this life. He's fine. And he was fine. Thank God. But he is, so let me explain who he is first, because it helps understand why it was so ridiculous. And he's more than welcome to listen to this episode. And I hope that he is, because maybe it'll help hold him accountable, because you can get COVID again. Gay men who are all out there doing whatever they want to do because they're gay men. So, and I am blaming gay men for the rise of the numbers in COVID. 100%. Gay men are the problem. Okay. Fight me on it. I have receipts. Okay. So I lived with my ex-roommate. I moved out. His name is Kyle. He's lovely. And he decided to go to Mexico after 6 months of quarantining together in the same home I'm talking like really hunkering down. We made videos. We like went through the gamut of emotions. You know, my dog died. Like, we really became family during this time. He was playing World of Warcraft on his computer the whole time, which is a side I didn't know he had. Did not know that a flamboyant gay man would be into 24 hours of World of Warcraft. That was fascinating. He learned that I like to watch Frasier reruns every night while he, rode his dildos. That's a thing that gay men do. They ride dildos. I don't know if you know this, but if anyone walked into our home during COVID, they would have thought that his bedroom was the lesbian's bedroom, because he had a box of dildos and I'm just in my room watching Frasier like a loser.
What's he doing?
He's riding them. He like suctions them to the wall and then like, oh my God, he's going to kill me.
Oh.
But they're like, yeah, I can't. I'm literally just like appalled. I moved in with him because I was like, okay, it's like 2 gay people. This is going to be great. I've never lived with a man before, but this is going to be fine because he's gay. No, that all that means is that there's more penis. There's just like his penis, whatever, man's coming over penises.
Sometimes more than one.
Then there's fake penises. And then there's like, they're really proud of penises. So there's like pictures of penises everywhere and books on penises. And like, the beer opener was a penis, like it's so much dick. And I would hide his penis things, and then he'd get upset because they're so proud of their penis things. And we're not like that with our vaginas. Like, that's just not, we're not taught, and ew. Not that vaginas are ew, but I'm too Southern and conservative for all this. No, I've got to put it away, put your genitals away. So I'm thinking we're like respecting one another, and we're both just like quarantining and doing it right. And then he gets a wild hair and decides to go to Mexico. And he's like, oh, I'm just renting an Airbnb. I'm just gonna go with my friend, just one friend, and we're gonna go to Mexico. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I don't think you should, because you have really bad asthma. If you get COVID, like, I don't know how that's gonna fare. He decides to go anyway, like swears up and down it's just with one person. On his way back, by the grace of God, I had been staying with the girl I had been dating. And I had been at her house for like a few nights. He gets back. He's like begging me to come home and hang out. And I don't know why, but because she was about to go home to Canada. She was about to go visit her family. So I was going to stay with her for a few days, get her out to Canada, and then go back home. In that time, he calls me and he's like, babe, don't come home. I tested positive for COVID. I'm like, where did you get COVID, Kyle? Where did you get COVID? And he's like, well, I'm thinking that maybe in Mexico, because, I was at this restaurant and that restaurant, and then I slept with this guy and that guy. But I did let this guy drink off of my drink, but we didn't have sex. And it's just, how the gay male train goes. It's just like, it's literal train. There's no like romantic night that he had. Like, we would go there and we'd be like, I met this one person and we walked on the beach, there'd be a love story with the gay men. It's like, I don't know. I went to this one club, and before I knew it, I was back in a house with 27 men.
And I woke up and I was right.
Yeah. And it's lovely and wonderful. I'm obsessed with how free they are. It's like, I wish that I'm sure there are some women, but I wish women in general were that free sexually, because it sounds lovely outside of COVID. It was distressing for me because then he came back and he's got COVID. So then I'm stuck at the girl I'm dating's apartment. Thankfully, I had her space to stay, because otherwise I really don't know what I would have done. Because she was in Canada. So I got to stay there. And during that time, I decided to just go ahead and take that opportunity and move out. Not in like a mean way. It was just like, this has been great.
It's not working.
It's not working. Well, I just didn't know what would happen next, because he's not going to, he wasn't going to change his lifestyle. He's thinking he's got the antibodies now. So now he's even crazier than he's ever been.
No.
And who's to say he's not going to touch something and bring it back? And by touch something, I mean a penis with COVID. And then, so to save that friendship and to really make sure that I was safe and he could, put his penis wherever he wanted, I just decided to get my own place, which was a really good decision. And then the best part about it, though, is that as soon as I moved out, he was fine. He didn't really have any symptoms. He was okay. He quarantined and was smart about it. As soon as I moved out, oh, so good. I moved across the town closer to, in South Pass.
Okay.
South Pasadena. He was in Koreatown. As soon as I moved into my new place, we booked a job working together that required us to be literally together.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So I had to drive over to Koreatown in order to work with him. So it was dumb anyway. And then...
Wait, what was that job? What was the job of the two of you together?
Oh, he was producing the virtual Outfest festival,
wow.
And I wrote and directed. Yeah. So it was kind of a big job. We did most of it from afar, but there were a couple of times we had to see each other in person to work it out. And then when Biden won, we decided to go for a joyride through West Hollywood, because everybody was losing their minds, all the gays. And as we're driving through West Hollywood, I'm telling you, Chrissy Teigen and John Legend were there standing outside of their car.
Awesome.
It was mayhem. And as we're driving, I'm like, okay, you know what? I fully forgive this dude. We're good. He's one of my best friends, family for life. I'm standing outside of the sunroof of his car, like, Chrissy Teigen, just losing my mind. And he looks up at me and he goes, hey, babe, you know how you thought we were quarantining for the first 6 months? Every time I left to go to the grocery store, I went and hooked up with someone.
What in the world? What?
So I'm done with gay men. I'm done. I don't believe a word coming out of any of their mouths.
And so he's still in that apartment? Did he get another roommate?
No, he's not getting another roommate. Thank God.
Can he afford it?
He can afford it.
Great.
Yeah, it's Koreatown. That's the great thing about Koreatown. It's super affordable. You can get like it's huge. It's a beautiful apartment in a crack house. You know what I mean? It's like
unbelievable.
Worth it. Unreal. I've really thrown him under the bus on this. I will say he is a lovely person.
Sure.
He's funny. Everyone should hire him. Everyone should work with him. No one should live with him.
Well,
until he's vaccinated.
The thing is, you didn't have to move out, but
I didn't.
But this situation called for it. In other words, how often do we have a pandemic that we know what to do? And so you didn't know. How would you have known?
I didn't know what to do, and I also didn't know when he would not have it in his body, because technically, according to the CDC, like, you're not shedding it after 10 days and all of that. But I also felt like I don't want to risk that.
I'm sure you have one bathroom, right? It was just one bathroom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no way. You can't risk that. Plus, he is the one who's potentially ill or sick, so he needs a place to stay, like today. Yeah. You can't say, yeah, you're sick and also on the streets.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the other thing, right? Because you're like, okay, I can't come home because now you have to quarantine there. Right. So I just got really lucky, and it did make me think about how lucky I was, because how many people are just getting it because they have nowhere to go other than their home where everyone has it, or where one person has it and gives it to everybody. I just like lucked out and had a place to be because she was in Canada for a month.
Yeah. So what was she doing up there?
She's from Canada, so she was just visiting family.
And so now, where'd you get a new apartment?
South Pasadena,
right on.
Which I love. I love it over
it's
here.
So clean. It's so beautiful. It's kind of suburban, right?
It's amazing, because I've been in LA for 15 years. So, and like in LA, so moving outside of it now, I'm like, I can walk down the street and pet horses. Like, this is crazy.
Like, that is so funny. Yeah, and it's also still very close. It's only 15 minutes from Hollywood. You're still really close. Yeah, South Pass is really beautiful. A lot of moms move out, or families. You know, they start in Los Feliz, Silver Lake, where I am, and then when you can't get a bigger apartment, it's just impossible. It's so expensive. Then they all push out to South Pass, and they have good schools out there and stuff like that too. Yeah.
And it's really close to Highland Park, which is like, actually, I mean, once COVID's over, it's very cool. And, you know, it's kind of like a eco park type extent.
It's very hip. Yeah, definitely. I go to the vet over there, and the North Figueroa Animal Hospital.
Oh, cute.
Do you have any pets right now?
I don't. My dog passed during COVID. My dog of 15 years. Yeah.
So it died because it was 15.
Yeah, it was just old age. Like, and he just went like that, which is good. It wasn't like he was like a 15-year-old puppy, and then suddenly he was old for 1 month, and then he died. So it was actually.
Did you have to take him?
I did. I had to take him to get euthanized.
But they wouldn't let you in there, right?
So they wouldn't let me in at first, and then they did let me in. They let me in to be with him while they euthanized him. Yeah. But it was a while where I was sitting in my car, and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I took my girlfriend's cat because she was ill, and I had to take her cat. And, you know, then the guy came out from the vet to the curb and then opened the back door and just took this kitty. And I knew that kitty was going in to die. And it was like, well, this is, should I wait for the carrier? You know, like,
Can I share? I called them the next day and I was like, hey, I came in like crying. I'm like, I came in with him wrapped in a blanket, like his favorite Christmas blanket, you know, do you have it? And they're like, let me check. No, it's gone.
Wow. That's so interesting. They just tossed the whole thing.
Okay, assholes. I see you.
Pretty interesting. Oh man. Yeah. That's cold. But I guess if that's what they're doing day in and day out.
He's sitting on my bookshelf right now.
A picture of him?
No, he's cremated.
Oh, you got the ashes.
I did,
wow.
yeah.
What'd you put him in?
He's like they put him in, well, I got him not cremated. It's called aqua aquamated or something with water where they break it down. It's better for the environment. And then
Holy
and
cow.
they put him in a just like a little bag and a pretty box, and he's just sitting up there with my cat from 10 years ago.
I want to ask you something, Mav. Have you ever heard of the idea if you take their collars and you hang them in the tree so you can hear the tinkle of their
That no, no. I would think it was him. I'd be like,
Now, let's say you got like a fake fireplace, right? In an
real
apartment with just no, let's say you have a fake. Do you have a
I
real
do,
one or a
yeah, I
fake
have a
one?
real fireplace.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's so South Pass.
It's still it's literally why I took the apartment. I was like, yep.
But let's say you had, because I've had friends, we all have friends who have the gas log or whatever, and then it can glows different colors or whatever. If I had like a gas fireplace and could just put like a decorative log, but then I would scatter the ashes there of my pet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like the log let that off, but it's not.
What?
It's Fluffy and Tinkerbell.
That's smart because it won't go anywhere. Because
No, it won't.
a bag
go
of that dust that you can buy that. Do you know that for a fake fireplace?
Wow.
So you buy that dust and it helps make it look prettier.
Well, there you go. Oh man, that's tough.
I'll just throw Rudy on the old.
Oh my. So listen, so then you're in COVID,
Yeah.
and are you able to make some money still doing writing, or what can you do?
I mean, I did the Outfest thing. Obviously that paid, that was work. And
That must have taken a long time, because when you're doing like an entire festival, what was your first thing? You get a binder, you get a trapper keeper, or do you get a computer?
Dude. It was so last minute because I think they had somebody pull out last minute, whoever was producing it. So we only had, I think it was 2 weeks to get the whole thing done.
Wow.
Produce the awards show and the fundraiser. I mean, a lot of it was, a little bit easier because it was virtual. So there's not quite as much chaos, right?
Yeah, sure.
And we pre-recorded it instead of doing any of it. Like some of it was done live, but most of it was pre-recorded. The entire fundraiser was pre-recorded.
Oh, okay. That was kind of nice then. In a way.
So we just hit the ground running and secured as much talent as we could, and then just wrote some sketches. Margaret Cho did a sketch with comedian Ian Harvey, which was cool.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so great.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's so great. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That must have been really exciting.
Yeah, that was cool.
Do you think you'd like to get into event planning? Is that something you see in your future?
No, I like to, no way. The part that I did was the writing. I loved the writing. I loved writing, all of Mark Melkin, he worked for E! Does Variety, does all the red carpet interviews. He's like a wild guy. He's really funny. You probably recognize him if you saw him. He hosted it. So writing it and coming up with it was really fun.
In his voice? Did you have to do it like that in his voice?
I tried a little bit, but yeah, I mean, that part was super cool, working with him, working with the other talent that we had doing, like writing their copy and their speeches and stuff like that.
Let me ask you something. Okay, so my buddy Matt Oswald, he does the director of photography. He does those award shows.
Oh, wow.
He's done a lot of award shows, and I, so basically he's writing in different people's voices, etc. He actually wrote for Biden on tour. Yeah, he got to write Punch Up for Biden. He doesn't know if he ever used it, but he definitely wrote the jokes.
Wow.
But what I'm always interested in, now he's not a comic, but you're a comic. So would you ever write one of your jokes in somebody else and let somebody else say it? Or now then that's not your joke anymore? I don't know, but from your act.
Oh, like if I found out somebody took one of my jokes or something?
No, not that. No, I'm saying so you write award shows. So now, you're stressing, you're thinking about, what would they say? What would be funny?
Oh.
And then did you ever pull from your own act and say this, I know it's funny? Or do you say like, whoa, I can't do that because then I'm giving my act out?
You know what? That's interesting. There wasn't an opportunity to do that with this one. And it's the only award show I've ever written. So but I would for sure. Like, why not? You know, unless, at the point at which I have like a special or something, obviously I wouldn't do that because then they'd feel weird. Like
you burned the joke. You burned the joke.
Yeah.
But that's so interesting because I would think, do it because it's just another way to joke. And then if somebody says, hey, wait a minute, and you say, yeah, it's my joke.
Yeah. I mean,
they hear you say it somewhere else. You're like, yeah, I wrote it to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, we should be able to I'd like to think that there's an endless well of material in us as comics, and
Well,
that,
there should be,
yeah,
because funny stuff happens every day, and
exactly.
that's always the perspective of it, like your perspective of it. Even if it wasn't funny, since it happened to you, if you say it in a certain way,
Yeah.
it's
I
funny.
I love writing for other people. Like, I would really enjoy that. Like, whenever I've written spec scripts or anything like that for existing shows, or like, I think it's really fun to listen to somebody's voice and then try to embody that in writing.
Yeah, but
So,
I'm just saying it would also be an intense study. I mean, you would
yeah.
have to really learn that person.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think that'd be
I
great.
know my friend Matt, he has to learn the movies. He has to know those
Wow.
DPs, that IMDb the shit out of them to find out, like,
That's
what
cool. I
they've
wanna
done,
talk to him.
where they're coming from. Yeah,
That's
man.
really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
That's even just to learn about that is so fascinating.
Yeah, he wrote Riding with Biden. No, he didn't.
Dude, somebody needs to write Biden's tweets because they're so boring.
Oh, I know, but isn't that a pleasure? Isn't
It
that so
is.
nice now? I can't wait to be bored.
Yeah, he's so boring.
Great. Let's be boring. Let's go back to much more interesting things than
Don't
politics.
you like, though, when he gets mad? I like when Biden gets a little angry, like a little angry grandpa.
He's my dad. He's
Is
so
he?
my dad. He even looks like my dad. Like, my dad
Really?
wearing those Ray-Bans would look just like him. A lot of white hair, all the white teeth. And yeah, my dad passed away now, but Joe Biden is so much like him, or he's so much
Wow.
like Biden. Yeah, and my dad would say things like, you're skating on thin ice, Mav. You know what I mean? Like,
That's such a dad
yeah,
line.
yeah. Hey, were you born in a barn? Could you shut the door?
Like, as if he wrote that line right then and there, like, with
Yeah,
such conviction,
yeah,
like,
exactly. Or, oh, don't be such a little whippersnapper or knucklehead, or, just like Biden just uses these terms. It's adorable. I love it.
adorable. And he'll, like, be speaking to camera, and then as soon as he gets upset, I don't know who he looks down at, but he always I don't know if it's Jill or who, but he's pissed, and he's always
Yeah,
like,
he's
"What
pissed.
in the hell, man? They're thugs." It's like, he's so stoked to have a reason to use the word thugs right now. He can't
Yeah.
stop saying thugs about the
Yeah.
Capitol.
Yeah. But
Like,
what I love so much about him also is, though, that, like, he is really speaking his truth, even his vocabulary, it's like,
yeah,
that's who he is. This guy from Delaware. He's just
yeah,
normal. He's a dude. And I believe what he says. It's not like
yeah.
with Trump, when there was no way to discern what was the truth and what was a lie. I mean, it was like, it was
No,
so topsy turvy.
because
When you keep,
he's a narcissist, so
yeah.
there is no truth to a narcissist. There's whatever benefits them in that
In
moment.
that moment, exactly. And it was just,
And,
it was really hard for 4 years not being able to let my daughter watch the president,
oh
like, let
god,
my daughter listen to the news. I mean, it was just
she
so
was 10.
finally.
She was
Yeah.
10.
And see, her whole life she'd had Obama, for 8 years. So she always saw this, this cool dude who sang sometimes, remember when Obama sang,
Wow.
"I'm
Yeah.
so in love with you." Can you
Yeah.
can you imagine if Trump tried to sing?
Oh my god, what would Trump sing if he tried to sing? Raindrops on roses and whiskey.
He'd either do Favorite
Yeah.
Things, or that Lee Greenwood America
Oh
song, Proud
god,
to be an
yes, he
American.
would. Oh, he's such a dirtbag.
And I'm also excited that Biden's bringing a dog into office. So there'll finally be another animal, a rescue dog, into the White House. In fact, they're having they're having a doguration for the new dog. Yeah, his name is Major. He's a German Shepherd.
Stop. I'm into this. They're doing an inauguration.
That's right. The inauguration is taking place. It's like the Puppy Bowl. I think it's on Tuesday night, the night before the inauguration.
How do you feel about Trump's send-off?
Oh,
How he's
right.
doing a big
I wish somebody would freaking fire a fire launcher, a missile launcher, just right up at that's the send off, man.
right up his ass.
I'm telling you, it is shocking how many people are letting themselves go down with this. When you think about those
Ooh,
senators, it's like, where do you think you're going to fall on the line in history?
ooh.
Where are you going to
It's
land?
it's fine. I'm fine with them just showing the colors we already knew they had. Like,
Yeah.
that's one of the only benefits of like this sort of reckoning occurring is like you see people for who they are, and you can't unsee that shit, you know?
When I watched, today they released some more footage from the Capitol riot. And when you
No.
see those people, like if you were writing a script, you would never say, okay, let's throw a guy in a bear suit and horns. That'll be, do that.
Like Braveheart.
It's a Mav. No, that's so stupid. Nobody would dress like that.
You'd say nobody would believe it. You'd be like, no one's going to read this and get past page 5. They're going to be like, how in the world did this guy get past security? You know, there's just
unbelievable.
It's really frustrating because it's funny, but it's also horrifying.
Terrifying.
Because somebody like that does not get inside the Capitol without the help of a lot of people who are already regularly inside the Capitol.
And that's where we're in, who knows? It's terrifying that there's that many millions of people that would do what they did. I can't believe when I see the footage of them like stepping over police officers. Like, what is lesson 1 in life? I mean,
I thought blue lives mattered.
Yeah. I mean, what is I know, but like as a child, the first thing is go to the helper people. That's the police.
Yeah.
And these guys were like trampling them. It's just,
the thing that really blows my mind about it mostly is okay, it wasn't a small group of people. It was thousands of people who stormed, but the news is really only showing us the most sensational images that stormed the Capitol, like the guy in the horns and, Davy Crockett's and the Mel Gibsons. And, but there were thousands of people.
I want to see the people in the back row.
Well, they don't want you to see it because they look more like us. And then that will feel the connection. And then that might make us do something about it rather than disassociate from those white people, and we're not those white people, but we are.
Yeah, this podcast, I try really hard not to talk about politics and stuff.
We did
this year.
My bad.
No, it's just this year you can't not. If you don't, it's like, were you even breathing at that time? Were you alive? Were you awake? I mean, so sometimes we have to touch on it, which we did. But more importantly, I'm just happy to talk with you, Mav Viola. I think you're just adorable.
Yeah. You're awesome. I'm so thrilled to have been here. This is such a wonderful podcast, literally. Thank you for reaching out to me because it's stuff like this that has helped, I think, comedians, especially, I mean, everybody, but we lost our thing,
I know.
like and I underestimate how much that's affected me often. And then I remember, I'm like, oh yeah, the thing that gives you joy, you've not had it for a year.
Just going out to open mics, which we might have not wanted to do, but then you saw those people and it's the community that we built and that was the home. That was where you go.
Wouldn't you give anything for a dick joke?
I would do anything to be at the Improv on even a Saturday night for Story Smash or a Sunday night for the open mic. I miss it.
Yeah, I do too. I miss it so much. So thank you. You've given me the opportunity to exercise that muscle a little bit and connect. Yeah. It's awesome.
All right, you guys, we got to wrap it up, but I want you to head over to Twitter and follow Mav Viola, Maviola. Tell her how much you liked her story and then tell me how much you liked the show at Storyworthy.
Yep.
And don't forget to check out Story Smash and everything we're doing over there. You can go to storysmashshow.com and find out a whole bunch more. All right, you guys, one more time on behalf of the very talented Mav Viola, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
My name is Christine Blackburn saying, make it a story-worthy week.
Follow me. I'll take you down to the river. Follow me. I'll keep you silent.
Thanks for joining us on the Storyworthy podcast. We'll be back next week with all new stories. Subscribe to Storyworthy on iTunes and visit the Storyworthy website at storyworthypodcast.com.
I'll keep you silent.
Membership fees apply after free trial. Cancel anytime.
Hi, it's Carl Deichler, CEO of Beachbody, and I'm giving away 10,000 free memberships a week to try our amazing Beachbody fitness and nutrition programs. Pick any program and just follow it step by step, like our 21-day fix program or the ab shredding muscle burns fat program. Plus, there's free support in personalized fitness groups with our community of over 2 million members. Now is the time, so don't wait. Go to beachbody.com to claim your free membership and start feeling great.
Dad is the smartest guy you know, so give him a gift that's just as smart, like a battery-powered smart doorbell from Google Nest that lets him see what's happening at his door and answer it from anywhere. The Google Nest doorbell is now on special buy for only $129.99 and works on any home. Find the best and smartest gifts for Dad. Feels like Father's Day at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Offer valid through June 19, 2022 at participating U.S. stores and online. Limit 5 per customer.